So what you want to start with is this Tangzhong. I'm sure I butchered the pronunciation there, but it is a flour water paste that you want to cook over low-medium heat until it thickens, like this. This is what is going to give your bread a really nice moisture that holds for days. It's a very strange method, but it works, I have to say. You set that aside to cool. Meanwhile, you combine the yeast and the warm milk and let that sit for about 10 minutes to bloom. And then after it has done that, what you want to do is add an egg to your slightly cooled Tangzhong mixture. It's okay if it's still a little bit warm. And basically you want to stir this until there's no lumps remaining. Also add a 1/4 cup of heavy cream and again stir until there's no lumps remaining. It's not terrible if there's a little bit of lumpage because later when you mix the dough together as a whole, it will come together without lumps, but try to get it as smooth as possible. Then you want to combine some bread flour with a lot of sugar actually. This is an enriched bread, so it's got fat and sugar added, and some salt. And you just want to combine the ingredients so they're mixed before adding in the yeast mixture and the Tangzhong egg cream mixture. And then you want to give this a good mix. Now it's going to take a little while to come together. I found this dough is a little on the shaggy side, as they say. But the cool thing about this dough is you don't really have to knead it so much in this state. You just want to bring it together, and at one point towards the end you're going to want to switch to your hand, and I'm using my left hand here because my right hand had a band-aid on it which got really annoying. But as you can see, it's kind of tough at this point, but I'm not really kneading it. I'm just bringing it together at this point and giving it just a tiny knead, like 1 minute of kneading. The difficult kneading part comes next. I'm flattening it out because I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter. 2 tablespoons of butter total. And this technique is kind of like brioche. So in brioche dough, you make the bread dough and then you knead a bunch of soft butter in at the end, like a whole stick of butter in at the end. This is only 2 tablespoons, so it's not as crazy as brioche. But as you will soon find whilst kneading this in is your dough gets really sticky and weird, and you'll freak out and think that you messed up, and you'll be really tempted to just throw your dough away and start all over again. But don't do that. This is perfectly normal. You just have to keep working at it. And after you've worked at it for a while, it's going to become smooth and soft and silky, and it's going to have this really, really wonderful texture. I wish you guys could feel it. It feels so lovely in your hands. It does not feel greasy at all. Note how there's nothing sticking to the cutting board anymore. It's just a wonderful, springy, elasticy, soft, silky dough. And then you're going to take that dough. I put it in a Pyrex dish that is on top of an oven that is heated to about 250 degrees. That kind of helps it rise a little bit better, especially if your house or apartment is cool. Cover it and let it rise for an hour or until it has doubled in size, and then you mercilessly punch it, get the air out, and draw it all up and put it back on your cutting board. You're going to give it just a very, very brief knead just to smash out all the large air bubbles. You know, you don't have to knead it forever. And then you want to separate it into 3 equal portions. If you want to be really anal, you can weigh them, but I'm not that precise. Then you flour a cutting board and you want to roll these out into rough, like square shapes, as close to a square shape as you can get, but it's okay if it's not like a perfect square. Mine are not perfect squares. You want to roll it until it's about a 1/4 inch thick or so. Yeah, that sounds about right. A 1/4 inch thick or so. You'll see. And then you fold it into thirds, kind of like you're making an envelope, and then you want to roll it into a cute little rosebud, basically. And you're going to repeat this with all 3 of the little balls of dough. And they look kind of like 3 little individual bread rolls or little cinnamon rolls. And you want to place them seam side down in a buttered and floured bread pan and let them rise again on top of the stove covered for another hour. And as you'll see after that hour, they should bulk up above the brim of the pan. And as you can see, my rolls were not all equal sizes. The one on the far left is bigger, and the one in the middle is medium, and the one on the right is the smallest. So at least it's like stairs or something. I meant to do that, really. I'm covering it with egg wash. It's just 1 egg beaten with about a tablespoon of milk, and then into a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. If it browns too quickly, you can cover it with foil for the last 5 to 10 minutes, and behold, it's beautiful, golden, milky goodness. Okay, you want to turn it out onto a wire rack after it's cooled for like a couple minutes, and then you want to let it cool on said wire rack. until it is ready to slice. And as you can see, it is beautiful and luscious and golden. And you want to cut into it right away, but you have to wait a few minutes. And let's have a little ASMR moment here. And look at how light and feathery it is. It is moist and delicious and steamy. And you're gonna wanna eat a piece of that warm right away. But it's great toasted also once left over. And I have it here with some butter and some cherry preserves. So I really hope you guys try this. I'm definitely making it again. This was my first time ever trying it, and I'm a believer now. Make this bread, it's delicious and a lot cheaper than going to a bakery.